Well, here is our Blue Jays reporter, Scott Mitchell from Target Field in Minneapolis. This is what we feared, isn't it, Scott, that the Jays' bats would go cold, and it happens again in Game 1. Just one run, just one extra base hit. What happened to this team on Tuesday in Game 1?
Yeah, kind of same old story. And look, first of all, you got to give credit to Pablo Lopez. He was excellent, and Blue Jays players kind of talked about that after the game. He was really nasty in his playoff start with, obviously, this team looking for their first playoff win in 19 years. So you look at kind of the missed opportunities for this club. And, you know, Matt Chapman drives one to the wall. You mentioned the one extra base hit off Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s bat. He was stranded. And then Bo Bichette tried to make something happen, being overly aggressive on the base pass. And he said his line of thinking was he needed Carlos Correa needed to make a perfect play to get him out. And that's exactly what happened. But that would have been bases loaded with 2 out. Maybe they get a knock there. And really, it comes back to the lack of power with this team, the lack of damage, the lack of production. You can't score runs in postseason games by hoping to string together hits. You kind of need some power, and we saw that on the opposite side with the Twins. They got 2 home runs from Royce Lewis, and that was the difference. It's the same old story with the Blue Jays this year. They just can't find any power, and they can't find any production, and now they're in an 0-1 hole.
And you mentioned Royce Lewis, Scott. This Twins team, they've hit way more home runs than the Jays this year. They were just loaded with power. And usually when the Jays' bats go cold, a guy like Kevin Gausman, who's had this terrific season, is there to pick them up. He only goes 4 innings on Tuesday. What happened to the Jays' ace in Game 1, Scott?
Yeah, look, very similar situation to last year. Alek Manoah was their ace, and he kind of got roughed up in Game 1 and put them in a hole. And same thing with Gausman. And look, there's a theme to this. The Minnesota Twins seem to have his number. When you look at it, 6.35 career ERA for Gausman against the Twins, a 5.70 career ERA here at Target Field. So they really grinded him, and the splitter wasn't carrying the zone, so they laid off it, and it's 2 4-seam fastballs. And that's not Gausman's bread and butter pitch. He has to locate that to get to the splitter, and Lewis got him twice. 2 mistake pitches. He wants those back, and yeah, when your ace is kind of that ace all year and he can't do it in Game 1 of the postseason, same old story 2 years in a row for the Blue Jays. And when they don't have that offense to be able to score and support that, 2 mistakes that Gausman wants back, and he's going to think about those for a long time.
And now the Jays are going with the former Minnesota Twin, Jose Berrios, in Game 2, Scott. Despite the fact that Chris Bassitt was so good down the stretch, as you know, and I know our own Steve Phillips disagrees with that decision. He says he would go with Bassitt. I'm curious to get your thoughts. Do you agree with the decision?
Yeah, last week I thought Bassitt would be the choice just based on how good he was down the stretch. I mean, 12 strikeouts in his last start. But you kind of delve into the numbers, and there are some reasons the Blue Jays went with Jose Berrios. First of all, he's obviously got a ton of experience here, being a former Minnesota Twin. The stage won't be too big for him. But when you look at Bassitt's numbers, he's got a 4.50 ERA on the road compared to a 2.86 ERA at home. And lefties have really hit him hard this year. You know, the numbers are great. He had a fantastic season, but he's given up a over 500 slugging percentage to left-handed hitters. And you just talked about those Twins, 233 home runs this year, a lot of it from the left side. So they decided to go with Berrios and his experience here. And yeah, look, if this doesn't go the way they want and they're going home for the winter, you're going to be able to question whether they put the right starter on the mound for Game 2, absolutely.
Their season is on the line. Game 2 will be Wednesday, and Scott Mitchell will be there. We'll speak to him after that game. Scott, thanks for this. We appreciate it.